A very good morning. Today is 22nd of August 2020. In this video we will be having a look into some of the articles of today's Hindu's newspaper and also editorial discussion. The more focused editorial discussion is based on the impact of COVID-19 and also the lockdown, how the measures should be done to curtail and revamp the economy and also job loss and things like that. Before I begin, I welcome you all to Wifi Study Karo, where I do daily editorials, some of the technical glitches, topic discussions, interesting facts and job updates. If you are new to my channel, I request you all to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss any update. I am Prashanth. Let's get started. The first headline of today's newspaper is 9 killed in Srisailam Powerhouse unit fire, so 8 others managed to escape through underground tunnel. So 9 people, including 5 engineers, were killed in the fire in one of the units of the state-run hydel station of the Srisailam Power project in Telangana side in the inner state border across the Krishna, and all the 9 bodies have been recovered. The fire broke out from the panel board in 150 megawatt unit around 10:30 p.m. on Thursday and gradually engulfed the entire area. The 17 engineers and technical staff of the duty made frantic efforts till midnight to control the fire, so 8 of them who were in the upper floor managed to escape through the underground tunnel linked to the power station. The remaining 9 were stuck deep inside the powerhouse on the left canal of the project, which serves the Telangana. So the right canal meets the irrigation requirements of Andhra Pradesh. So this is regarding the fire accident which was happened in Srisailam left powerhouse unit, and 9 were killed unfortunately. So this is the mishap happened in Srisailam Power House in Telangana. The next article is regarding the sedition case and journalist. So fake criticism of government is not sedition. The journalist tells Supreme Court, a citizen has a right to say or write whatever he likes about the government and its measures by the way of criticism or comment, so long as he does not incite people to violence against the government established by the law or with the intention of creating a public disorder, says Viond Dua, a veteran journalist. So Dua moved the court to quash the FIR accused him of sedition registered in Kumar Sen police station located on the outskirts of Shimla in May. So the basis on the case is the YouTube show telecast on the March 30. The FIR accused him of blaming the government for COVID-19 preparedness and making the personal allegations against the Prime Minister Modi. So this is what the thing happened, and he was accused of the sedition case, and he tells that in court to quash sedition case against him. This is regarding the hate speech which was really in news, and the statement by the Facebook Ajit Mohan. So our policies on hate speech are uniformly applied, says the Facebook. Decisions made by the team, not unilaterally but just one person, says India's head. So following allegation on the basis of implementing and company's own guidelines of hate speech in India, Facebook Indian Vice President Managing Director Ajit Mohan on Friday said that social network platform is a non-partisan and denounces hate and bigotry in any forms. So the statement comes almost a week after the report published by the Wall Street Journal alleged that the company violated its own rules for hate speech in favor of some individuals, including those associated with the ruling BJP, after opposing from Akin Das. So Anki Das what had said regarding the hate speech. This is a statement given by the Vice President of Facebook India regarding the hate speech. So let's now get into editorial discussion. The first article is regarding the impact of COVID-19, differential impact of COVID-19 and the lockdown. So the resultant distress is India has exacerbated pre-existing structures of disadvantage based on social identity. In the book The Great Leveler, Walter discusses that Austrian economic historian argues that throughout a human history there has been 4 types of catastrophic that had led to a greater economic quality, a pandemic, war, revolution, and state collapse. So currently the world is going through one of them, a massive COVID-19 pandemic. As Shields analysis, the decline in inequality is a result of excess mortality that rise the price of labor. So while the validity of Shields' argument for the current pandemic can only be accessed after it is over, the pandemic has been described as a leveler more loosely, both because of disease and can strike anyone. So there is a marginalized at risk. The focusing on the looser description of the pandemic at leveler, preliminary data, and also early indirect evidences from several parts of the world indicate that the incident is not a new class of neutral, that poorer and economically vulnerable populations are more likely to contract the virus as well as to die from it. So to extent economic class and social identity, race, ethnicity, or caste overlap, that suggests that social marginalized groups would be at high risk of mortality due to the COVID-19. So the India shutdown, a key element of the pandemic control strategy everywhere has been to shut down the economy and social activity and to impose social distancing with varying degrees of strictness. So India's lockdown imposed last week in March 2020 and was among the most stringent. The first month that severe lockdown on April 2020 has a sharp rise in unemployment. So was this sudden unemployment caste neutral despite the fact that it is a caste ban? So the examine shifts in the employment and unemployment rates using the data of Center for Monitoring Indian Economy and also Consumers Pyramid House Survey database. So in a longitudinal data set covering around 174,405 households, that is around 1,74,405 households, household is followed 3 times per year. So here the author says that there are some analysis and stats of different categories regarding the caste-based unemployment and education as a factor. The global evidence suggests that the job loss associated with COVID-19 are much more concentrated among the individuals with low levels of education and those with the vulnerable jobs and no tenure or security. So we find that the individuals with the more secure job, that is not daily wages, and those with more than 12 years of education were much likely to be unemployed in April 2020 than those in the last 12 years of education with the daily wage jobs relative and the pre-pandemic employment status. So our earlier works reveal that the caste gaps at the higher level of education have either remained static or widened over the last 3 decades. So this is regarding the stats of the employment status. An issue of technology. There are many dimensions that reveal the continued disparity between the caste groups, which would affect the ability of Dalit and Adivasi families to access online education. For example, the proportion of households with access to the internet is 20% and 10% for UC and SC households respectively. So only 49% of SCs have been bank savings and compared to 62% of upper caste households. So the author compares the technology used by Dalit and also upper caste families. Clearly says that 49% are having a bank savings of the under scheduled caste and 62% have the upper caste households are the bank savings. So this differential access of information technology as well as disparities in the inability to invest in technology will be critical in shaping access of online education. If the pandemic forces schools to close for a substantial period of time, early impacts of the pandemic induced the lockdown indicate that the result economic distress is exacerbating pre-existing structures of disadvantage based on social identity and investments, education and health that close gaps between the social group would also be essential to build resilience in the face of the future shocks. So this is what author says regarding the pandemic scenario and some of the factors which provide very essential, also dominating situations, how the technology and used by the most of the people who are educated rather than not educated persons. The next article is also on post-pandemic future and moving resolutely how towards the post-pandemic future. Even as many countries are stumbling, India has seized control of its destiny, is recovering and making bold plans. So a moment comes, but rarely in the history, when a nation seizes control of its destiny, when a new Atmanirbhar era begins, and when the people of nation move forward with the confidence. It is fitting that this moment has come during the global novel coronavirus pandemic. Even as the world is reeling from the impact of the pandemic, India is recovering with a fresh energy and making bold plans for the future. So the pandemic began spreading around the world just a few months ago, yet it plunged the global economy into the deepest economic contractions, the Depression of the 1930s. So trillions of dollars of economic output have been wiped out. Most countries will take years to return the pre-coronavirus levels. Billions of people are confronting a shrunken future. So the calibrated measures that India has avoided this fate. The government of Modi has undertaken a series of decisive calibrated actions, include implementing a rapid lockdown, save lives, providing abundant relief to the protect livelihood, and simultaneously positioning the economy for the strong revival through Atmanirbhar policy package. On March 24th, the Modi government announced a historic nationwide lockdown that was eventually lifted on June 1st. The national lockdown dramatically dampened the disease exponential growth rate and gave the country time to prepare. So without the lockdown, the cases of coronavirus would today be several times higher than now. So more importantly, coronavirus fatalities would have been even higher, since the case fatality rate have declined dramatically in the past few months. So was the lockdown essential? So yes, a terrible human tragedy was swiftly and averted. During the lockdown, the nation got ready to face the pandemic. So every citizen learned the value of mask and mask wearing, social distancing and hand washing. Hospital beds, intensive care unit, ventilators, oxygen cylinders, personal protective equipment, N95 masks were procured in vast quantities and supplied to every district. COVID-19 care and quarantine centers were established in every block. Testing capacity increased from 1,000 per day to almost 1 million per day. So testing labs are now available from 80 to 90% of the districts. So extraordinary medical advances have also happened in the past few months. Several drugs have proven to be efficacious. Treatment protocols are now widely available, and many vaccine candidates are now in the final stage of testing. The national lockdown have saved lakhs of lives. So along with the lives, livelihood has also saved through the bold action. Soon after the lockdown announced by the Prime Minister and also Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, a massive relief package to the needy. Through this program, around 80 crore people's fellow citizens are being provided rations through the public distribution system, that is PDS. This has saved them money and put the cash in their pockets. So over 20 crore Jandan women account holders are received 30,654 crore directly into their bank accounts. Around 2.3 crore construction workers have got around 4,313 crore, while 2.8 crore beneficiaries of the National Social Assistance Program have received some of the amount. So the rural economy, which supplies 60 to 70% of India's population, accounts for 46% of GDP, is surging. The excellent Rabi harvest has resulted in 75,000 crores in a farmers' payment by the government. Almost 10 crore farmers have received 40,000 crores in the income support through PM Kisan Samman Nidhi. Over 4 crore households benefiting from the expanded Mahatma Gandhi Employment Guarantee Act scheme. So thus the rural economy has received around over 2 lakh crore of cash directly into the beneficiary account just from the central government. State government have run their own relief programs as well. So these massive cash payments have driven a rural confidence with the consumer goods, motorcycle and tractor purchases or above pre-pandemic levels. RBA and policy actions, the micro and small medium enterprises, MSMEs and large corporates have also been provided substantial relief through the coordinated action between the RBA and the government. Compliance filing and tax payment were extended by several months. Borrowers received a loan moratorium for the 6 months. So moreover, RBA has cut the rates by 115 BPS and also pumped in more than 9 lakh crore liquidity into the financial system. So 3 lakh crore rupees have been made available to the guaranteed collateral free loan for MSME borrowers with a close to half that has been sanctioned. So the National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, Small Industry Development Bank of India, National Housing Bank and National Banking Financial have all been provided refinancing facilities. So the RBA has undertaken a vast long-term repo operations to bring down the yield curve. As a result, all these policies action, credit markets have stabilized, the credit is available and spreads have come down to the normal level. So with the loan moratorium coming to the end of August 31st, the RBA now announced a one-time restructuring scheme to provide a relief to the stressed sectors. So borrowers will be able to restructure their loan to match their cash flow, thereby protecting their businesses and jobs. The net result of these relief actions have been prevent the widespread business failures and job loss, which would have resulted in the permanent damage of the Indian economy. So the key reforms after these relief measures were rolled out. The government introduced the Atmanirbhar package following the adage, these crises are a terrible thing to waste. The Prime Minister had launched a bold policy reforms in agriculture, defense production, electronic manufacturing, coal mining and public sector. So these reforms position India for the future and generate a confidence among the business people and investors. So the agriculture sector has seen the most transformational changes. So unfortunately, the architects of Indian industrial policy transformation in 1991 have chosen not commend the agriculture policy transformation of 2020. So through a series of ordinances, price control have largely been removed in agriculture. Farmers can now sell their crop to anyone, and also contract farming have been allowed. So Kisan credit cards are being provided to all the fishermen, dairy farmers and also other agriculturists. Additional 1 lakh crore have been earmarked to build rural infrastructure such as storage depots, refrigerator warehouse and other post-harvest facilities. So animal husbandry has also sanctioned around 15,000 crore rupees. So defense production is being indigenized to 101 items meant only for domestic production. So the production linked incentives for electronic manufacturing are likely to result in lakhs of crores of smartphone production in India for the domestic use and export. So current projection of that India will soon be among the top smartphone manufacturers globally. So in sum, these game-changing reforms have promoted domestic and foreign investors to start pouring billions of dollars in investment into our economy. So there is a confidence during these uncertain times India remains a safe haven. The rupee has strengthened against the dollar, the world's reserve currency. Our opinion survey consistently shows that Modi is the most popular elected leader in the world. In fact, the tracking polls show that how popularly have actually gone up during this pandemic demonstration, that Indian people approve of his handling of the coronavirus. Confidence in the government has also increased. So many countries are stumbling through the pandemic. Meanwhile, India has seized the control of its destiny and is marching resolutely towards the post-pandemic future. So this is regarding the future, how the things have happened in the lockdown, how government have taken some measures, also the good measures moved by the government of India that bring people normalcy. That's the end of article discussion. If you are new to my channel, I request you all to subscribe so that you will not miss further updates. Thank you. Have a great day.